1929, families in Chicago began dying quietly in their homes. No signs of struggle, no warning, just collapse, the killer. Not a person, not a plague, but gas, methyl chloride, leaking silently from new electric refrigerators. The panic that followed, chemical giants rushed to find safer refrigerants. This scramble would lead to one of history's most dangerous inventions, polytetrafluoroethylene, later known as Teflon, and one of its darkest corporate cover-ups. April 6, 1938, chemist Roy Plunkett is experimenting with refrigerants when he finds something strange, a slick white powder coating his lab equipment, polytetrafluoroethylene, a substance so inert even molten sodium couldn't touch it. Sulfuric acid, chlorine trifluoride, the most aggressive chemicals on Earth, none could break its carbon-fluorine bonds. DuPont named it Teflon. It would change the world at toe and poison it. During World War II, the United States' top-secret Manhattan Project had a problem. Uranium hexafluoride gas was eating through pipes at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The only barrier strong enough was polytetrafluoroethylene. But to make it, DuPont needed a processing aid. Perfluorooctanoic acid, also known as C8, a synthetic 8-carbon chain carboxylic acid purchased from the Minnesota mining and manufacturing company, also called 3M, December 1961. DuPont's own toxicology study number 304 shows rats developing enlarged livers at just 1.5 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. For reference, sodium cyanide kills at 5 milligrams per kilogram. The report warns, extreme care must be taken to avoid skin contact. Workers were never told. In 1965, dog studies reveal bleeding stomachs and dying pancreatic cells. Every page. Stamped Company Confidential. Meanwhile, DuPont's Washington Works plant in Parkersburg, West Virginia, is dumping over 10 tons of perfluorooctanoic acid into the Ohio River every year. In 1998, a West Virginia farmer named Wilbur Tennant notices his cattle are dying, violently. Blackened teeth, huge tumors, foaming creeks. The land borders a DuPont landfill. He collects water samples. The chemical inside? Perfluorooctanoic acid, measured at 1,600 parts per billion, DuPont's own internal safe limit. 1 part per billion. Enter Robert Bilott, a corporate attorney turned whistleblower. He uncovers years of internal DuPont memos. In 1981, 100% of Teflon plant workers have perfluorooctanoic acid in their blood. Averaging 500 parts per billion, in 1984, DuPont discovers perfluorooctanoic acid in public drinking water, but never notifies the United States Environmental Protection Agency. In 1991, DuPont scientists calculate a real, safe dose of 0.6 parts per billion, then round it up to 1 part per billion, because that's the lowest their detection equipment could measure. A 1984 memo considers safer alternatives, but rejects them. Quote, none are economically attractive. By the year 2000, scientists found perfluorooctanoic acid in almost everyone. 99.7% of Americans, polar bear livers in Greenland, 2,100 parts per billion, rainwater in the Tibetan Plateau, newborn babies' umbilical cords. The chemical's persistence is terrifying. In human blood, its half-life is approximately 3.8 years. In the environment, degradation can take over 1,000 years. In wildlife, it bioaccumulates up to 100,000 times higher in fish than in the surrounding water. Exposure routes were everywhere. Firefighting foams used on military bases and commercial airports, microwave popcorn bags, with levels up to 12,000 parts per trillion, stain-resistant carpets and clothing. Industrial discharges affecting 96% of watersheds in the United States. By 2013, the science was undeniable. Perfluorooctanoic acid was linked to kidney cancer, with a 1.5 times higher risk when levels exceeded 30 parts per billion. Testicular cancer, with a 2 times increased risk. Thyroid disease, pregnancy complications such as preeclampsia and low birth weight. Mechanisms of damage included activation of the peroxisome proliferator activated receptor alpha, causing liver toxicity, suppression of the immune system, leading to reduced response to vaccines, epigenetic mutations affecting future generations. After 3,535 lawsuits, DuPont settled for $670 million United States dollars. But what about more than 3,500 Parkersburg residents diagnosed with diseases linked to perfluoroalkyl substances? 130 million United States dollars spent on water filtration systems, lifelong medical monitoring for 70,000 people. Today we have tools to fight back. Reverse osmosis filters certified by the National Sanitation Foundation can remove over 99% of perfluoroalkyl substances. Supercritical water oxidation can destroy carbon-fluorine bonds at 600 degrees Celsius. In 2024, the United States Environmental Protection Agency set a drinking water limit of just 4 parts per trillion for both perfluorooctanoic acid and perfluorooctane sulfonic acid. But industry hasn't stopped. New so-called safer alternatives like Gen-X, hexafluoropropylene oxide dimer acid, and Adona, ammonium 4,8 dioxa, 3H perfluorononanoate, are being used instead. Gen-X has a 6-carbon chain but similar toxicity. Adona is even more mobile in C. The environment. This is the price of profit-first science. When corporations cut corners, we pay with our health, our ecosystems, and our children's blood. Test your water. Demand justice. Because so-called forever chemicals should never mean forever harm.